I have to apologize, but I'm going to do it one final time tonight, and I won't apologize again. I'm sorry that I
came to me and said, it's yours. You're responsible for it. If I didn't want Shannon Sharpe at first take, Shannon Sharpe wouldn't be at first take.
Absolutely.
That's just how I roll.
You one of the few, Stephen A.
Now the whole internet is watching Shannon Sharpe crumble right before their eyes. And Stephen A. Smith, he's not pulling a single punch. He straight up roasted Shannon live on national TV, exposing the messy truth about what really went down behind ESPN's closed doors. And the wildest part, he low-key hinted Shannon's career might already be sinking for good. The crazy part is, Shannon walked himself right into this mess. A resurfaced clip of Stephen A. Smith addressing the Shannon drama has been making the rounds, and social media is eating it up.
It's important to point out a couple of things. Number one, I was not there. I can provide no eyewitness account. And even though I got love and respect for Shannon Sharpe, and I'm sincerely hopeful and prayerful that he is completely innocent of the allegations that have been levied against him, I can't sit here and speak to his innocence or guilt from a knowledgeable place because I have nothing to do with this. I haven't seen anything. I don't know anything. I don't even know this person. I know what the reports say. I know the reports, the things that have been reported on a multitude of outlets, from the AP to the New York Post to Forbes to TMZ and everything in between. I mean, I can't even count the number of publications that have talked about it or written about it, networks, etc. It's all over the internet.
This ain't just about Stephen's razor-sharp sarcasm. It's about the fact he made it crystal clear he's not riding for Shannon at all. In Stephen's eyes, Shannon's career ain't bouncing back after getting dragged through these shady scandals. Fans couldn't stop asking the real questions. Is Stephen trying to sabotage Shannon? Did he know about some behind-the-scenes power struggles at ESPN we ain't supposed to know? Or maybe, is this straight-up jealousy? Well, the answers came out fast, and what spilled was a cold, unsettling truth about Shannon Sharpe that nobody was ready for. For anyone who's been keeping tabs, Shannon went from being everyone's favorite unk to the internet's walking punchline after getting tangled in multiple lawsuits with messy headlines. But here's what most folks missed right after quietly settling that recent lawsuit filed by of model Gabrielle. Things took a shocking turn that made people look at Shannon in a whole different way. Shannon was left flat broke, deep in debt and drowning in bills. And guess who clocked it first? Stephen A. Smith. The second he caught wind, he didn't hesitate to go in. Stephen jumped on air and spent a whole 20 minutes tearing into Shannon for digging his own grave. He tried to dress it up like he was defending him, but anyone watching could see he was fighting to keep a straight face the entire time. In that clip, you can practically feel it. He was almost enjoying the fact that Shannon's money was gone and his image was trashed. But here's where the story takes a crazy left turn. Just months earlier, Shannon was on top of the world and could have never guessed his empire was about to crumble. After landing that explosive Cat Williams interview, his Club Shay Shay podcast went viral, the most watched podcast on YouTube. And it didn't stop there. In April 2025, Front Office Sports dropped a bombshell report. Shannon was about to lock in a $100 million deal for his podcast. Athlete-driven media had never seen numbers like that. On top of his ESPN checks and other ventures, Shannon wasn't just winning. He was running the whole sports media game. Then the bottom fell out. That high-profile lawsuit from of model Gabrielle Zuniga hit like a wrecking ball. And here's the jaw-dropper. Stephen A. Smith already knew it was coming before the public ever heard a word. So when Stephen fired off those slick comments about Shannon, it wasn't just petty shade. He was speaking from inside info that had receipts.
What does that even mean?
Nothing yet. You want to be a me now, so.
I don't want to be. Don't manipulate me.
Oh, no, have mercy. If you say that one more time, I'm going to choke the shit out of you when I see you.
Interested in getting choked, so I guess we're going.
Yeah, I might choke you in public.
Real talk. Anyone paying attention could tell Shannon's time at ESPN was on borrowed time. But the real trouble? That came when Gabrielle "Gabby" Zuniga came out swinging with her first demand, a jaw-dropping $50 million. Shannon brushed it off like it was a joke, calling it a straight-up money shakedown. He even clapped back, saying he'd sue Gabby and her lawyer, Tony Busby, for extortion and defamation. From the outside, Shannon looked unshaken, calm, confident, and ready for war. But then the game changed. Things took a darker, messier turn when audio recordings of Shannon and Gabrielle leaked online. And the internet? It went absolutely crazy over what they heard. In the first clip, you hear Shannon's voice in a heated argument, throwing out words that sounded aggressive and threatening toward Gabrielle. In the second clip, the whole vibe shifts. Gabrielle's tone comes across nervous, like she's genuinely scared something bad might happen. People didn't know what to make of it, and the reactions were explosive. That's when Stephen A. Smith decided to stop playing the sidelines. He jumped in with both feet and lit up the Shannon situation on air. And remember, Stephen and Shannon aren't just industry names, they go way back. Stephen was the one who opened the door for Shannon to get his big break at Fox, and they've shared years of friendship and work together. Which is why everyone thought Stephen's reaction was going to be very different. Stephen's reaction wasn't the ride or die loyalty people expected. It was a straight-up public takedown. Instead of defending Shannon, Stephen sat under those bright studio lights and picked apart every single detail of the scandal. He broke down the leaked audios, the lawsuit, and the money troubles like he was narrating a crime documentary. Viewers could see it in his face. This wasn't just sports commentary. It felt personal. Fans flooded social media saying things like, "Stephen's done with Shannon for good," and "This is the final nail in the coffin." Some even swore they saw a smirk flash across Stephen's face when he mentioned Shannon's career spiraling beyond repair. That single moment lit up Twitter, Instagram, and every sports forum out there. But here's where it gets even spicier. Insiders claim Stephen had been warning execs behind the scenes for months that Shannon was a ticking time bomb for ESPN's image.
To my family, friends, supporters, and colleagues, I want to speak to you directly and from the heart. This is a shakedown. I'm going to be open, transparent, and defend myself because this isn't right. This is all being orchestrated by Tony Busby, who has targeted Jay-Z. Tony Busby targets black men, and I believe he's going to release a 30-second clip of a tape that tries to make me look guilty and play into every stereotype you could possibly imagine. And you're trying to manipulate the media. The encounter in question took place during the day at her invitation, and now that appears to be a deliberate setup, coordinated by Gabby, also known as Carly on OnlyFans. Gabby and Tony Busby want $50 million. What they're getting is sued for defamation and trying to take me down. My career is all about real talk and honesty. I know my family and fans know exactly what this is about.
So when the scandal blew up, it was almost like Stephen was proving a point he'd been making all along. If that's true, then Shannon wasn't just fighting lawsuits and bad press. He might have been battling people inside the building who were ready to watch him fall. People expected Stephen to either ride for Shannon or at least keep things neutral until the trial wrapped and the dust settled. But Stephen shocked everyone when he went live and straight up hinted that Shannon might not be so innocent after all. And he didn't stop there. Stephen took it further, calling out Shannon for living wild and chasing reckless thrills that could blow up any career. He even bragged on air that you would never catch him messing around with the kind of risky games Shannon plays. He didn't get too specific, but everyone knew exactly what lane he was talking about. Shannon's high-profile, very public escapades with much younger white women. But that was only scratching the surface. Things got even messier when news broke that Shannon had quietly agreed to settle Gabrielle's lawsuit out of court. This was after months of him loudly declaring he'd never give her a dime. The exact payout never hit the press, but insiders say it might have landed dangerously close to that original $50 million Gabby demanded. That massive hit didn't just hurt his pride, it drained his pockets, tens of millions gone in a flash, plus a mountain of legal fees waiting right behind it. By the time it was over, Shannon wasn't just licking his wounds, he was watching his bank account bleed out. And just when it couldn't get any worse, the insult that came next hit harder than the lawsuit itself. Right after the settlement, Gabby popped up with a fresh statement, and it had people's jaws on the floor. She announced she was retiring from OF, and you could practically hear the excitement in her words. But here's the kicker. She didn't mention the lawsuit once. No talk about other victims, no deep speech about healing, nothing. Sure, she didn't owe the public an explanation. But to a lot of people, it looked like she cashed the check and bounced. What made the whole thing even spicier was her saying she was truly excited for this next chapter. That lit up social media with speculation. Did she set Shannon up? And if she didn't, how bad was the evidence against him that he went from threatening to sue her to paying out a fortune? For Shannon, this wasn't the end. It was just the start of the downhill slide. Soon after, old skeletons started rattling out of his closet, and the picture they painted wasn't pretty. Turns out, Gabby wasn't the first to take him to court over inappropriate behavior. Years ago, his ex, Michelle Evans, had already filed a lawsuit with allegations stretching back over a decade. And now, Michelle's back with a brand new defamation suit asking for a cool $16 million. Even worse, insiders say she's holding on to receipts that could bury Shannon's reputation for good. If she wins, Shannon won't just be in trouble. He'll be drowning in financial quicksand with no lifeline in sight. But here's where it gets wild. Shannon used to be that guy, the sports world's go-to voice, the one fans would defend without a second thought. Now, people don't even want to see his face on screen. His reputation did a full 180 and from respected to reviled. And the worst part? Folks had been warning him for years that if he didn't switch up his ways, he'd end up broke, embarrassed, and out of the game. And now those old warnings are coming back to haunt him. Clips from Shannon's past Club Shay Shay interviews are going viral again, and the comment sections are ruthless. One clip that's been blowing up is Monique's interview, where she straight up warned him about chasing women young enough to be his daughters. She told him, plain and simple, that staying on that path would end in disaster. And looking at his situation now, she couldn't have been more right. But if you think that was bad, the internet's been losing it over another resurfaced moment, the infamous Cat Williams interview. While Monique tried to keep her warning low-key, Cat didn't bother sugarcoating a thing. He told Shannon directly, "Doesn't matter how famous or liked you are. If you don't watch yourself, you'll get destroyed. Like Kang the Conqueror." Now fans are connecting the dots, saying it's no coincidence Shannon's bank account is in shambles. To them, every scandal from the past few years is part of the same pattern. A pattern he was told to avoid, but ignored until it blew up in his face. Fans wasted no time flooding his comment sections with "told you so" energy. One person wrote, "Shannon, this could have all been avoided if you actually listened to Kat and Monique." Another reminded him, "They were literally sitting beside you, dropping wisdom meant for you, and you just laughed it off." Now the big question swirling around is, could Shannon have really stopped this downfall? Or was he doomed from the start? Then, just when it seemed like things couldn't sink any lower, boom! Shannon got hit with the ultimate career blow, a termination letter from ESPN. And not just any gig. We're talking about his most lucrative role as co-host of First Take. That job was his bread and butter, but after word got out that he settled Gabrielle's lawsuit for a massive amount, the suits at ESPN quietly decided to cut him loose. No press conference, no statement, no messy on-air drama, just a cold, clean email saying it was over. Insiders say Shannon was crushed. This wasn't just like any other firing. This was ESPN saying, loud and clear, that his credibility was gone. His reputation, torched. His finances, bleeding. And the humiliation didn't stop there. His podcast views are tanking, the sponsors have gone radio silent, and his merch line stalled. Now there's even talk that Shannon's been scrambling to offload pieces of his real estate empire, including that flashy Atlanta property he used to show off on Instagram. For a man who once ruled sports media, the fall has been brutal. And it looks like the bottom still isn't in sight. At this point, it's like Shannon is throwing everything at the wall, hoping something will stick. And fans are starting to connect the dots. But just when you thought it couldn't get any messier, it did. Stephen A. Smith unfollowed Shannon on Instagram, and the internet lost its mind. That single click made it crystal clear. This beef isn't just professional anymore, it's personal. Word on the street is Steven's not even picking up Shannon's calls now. And as if that wasn't enough, Club Shay Shay's numbers have been in freefall ever since the Cat Williams interview went nuclear. That viral high is gone, and every guest since just gets compared to that legendary moment, meaning Shannon is forever chasing a ghost he can't catch. One YouTube comment summed it up perfectly. This might be the biggest fumble in sports media history. But here's where it really caught fire. Shannon finally broke his silence. In a nightcap video, he addressed the rumors head-on, and the internet swarmed. In the clip, he even spoke on his departure from ESPN, and you could hear it in his voice, that sting, that embarrassment, that weight of knowing he went from sitting at the top of the game to fighting for scraps in the same industry that once crowned him king. He knows the world is watching, and deep down he's ashamed of just how far he's fallen. But here's the twist. The video wasn't the heartfelt apology fans were expecting. Instead, it came off like pure deflection. In the clip, it was obvious to viewers that Shannon wasn't ready to take real accountability. No lessons learned, no ownership of his part in the chaos. And the comment section lit him up for it. One person wrote, "Shannon didn't learn a thing." Another said, "Bro, take accountability for your actions. Look in the mirror, fix your business moves, and stop letting these women play you." The message was loud and clear. People were tired of excuses, but it wasn't just the fans talking. Stephen A. Smith jumped in, and when Shannon's video went viral, Stephen wasted no time hopping on his own channel to straight up laugh in his face. That clip spread like wildfire across social media, not just because Stephen clowned him in public, but because he was supposed to be one of Shannon's closest friends. People couldn't believe he was leading the hate train. One clip in particular says it all, and Stephen's smirk, his tone, his choice of words, it was the perfect snapshot of where their friendship stands now. It's almost poetic. Shannon used to be respected, the OG, the voice of reason, the man who kept it real. Now, he's the punchline. The guy who fumbled the bag, got clowned by Stephen A., and has no clear next move, and the cruel part? Stephen didn't even have to bury him. Shannon dug the hole himself. Stephen A. is still standing tall, still talking, still dominating the game. And Shannon? He's gone quiet. Right along with the so-called friends who swore they'd have his back. Subscribe to Public Secrets, like, and share, because this story isn't over and you won't want to miss what comes next.